1, 2, 1, 2. I see technology is with us on our side tonight. I'm really, really surprised to see so many of you still here at 5:30 talking about the subject, the exciting subject of staking, which many of us understand as something that we just leave our coins in a smart contract and we forget about them, right? As a passive thing, as a passive income. Well, we are here to talk about this subject of staking and demystify the myth that staking is something passive. I'm pleased to have with us here Alina from Everstake. She's been in the space for 3 years now, and she's very active in the Multiverse X ecosystem. Thank you, Alina. We have also Kwon with us from Forbol. I've known Kwon for quite some time, maybe 6 years, with Battle of Stakes, something like that, or
Game of Stakes.
Game of Stakes, yeah. Battle of Stakes was on Multiverse X. We share the passion of playing the guitar, and he's also a Barcelona fan. So, go Barca.
Barca, Barca, Barca.
And not lastly, we have Laszlo from Kiln. He's a serial entrepreneur. He founded a company in 2015, tracking talent for tech, and then he moved into blockchain. And now he runs a company that focuses on enterprise-grade, corporate-level staking. So we have a nice panel here with us.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
I just said a few words about each of them, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So Alina, please go ahead.
Thank you, Eddie. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here today with you all. So I'm Alina, and I'm head of staking at Everstake, and I'm the one who is in charge of both institutional and retail staking. And one of the directions that I'm managing is the connection between the community and between our staking provider in order to stay informed, in order to respond to all the requests we receive from our community. So our credo is to be useful, and I'm trying to fulfill our mission here. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. Kwon?
Hello, I'm Kwon. I'm the co-founder of Forbol Group, and then we run a validator on Multiverse X, along with some other networks. And we are also a Web3 infrastructure provider, so we also provide validator white labeling services and RPC services.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Laszlo, the co-founder and CEO of Kiln. We are an on-chain platform for crypto platforms, and we focus on offering staking, liquid staking, and all other kind of yields on-chain, non-custodial to exchanges, wallets, and custodian. Very nice to meet you guys.
Okay, thank you. So maybe we start by defining some concepts, right? Staking. What is staking exactly, and what is the importance of staking? So let's go in line.
Yeah, so probably, I suppose that everyone in this auditorium knows what's the basics of staking, how the process of staking looks like, but it is important to outline that staking is actually the core element of every blockchain that operates on the proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. It is important for users and for our audience to understand that due to the technology revolution that we have, so we have the proof of stake, we have proof of work, proof of stake, and now we have the delegated proof of stake, where all the users can partake in this very process. And the mission of the staking, of course, it is validation, the transaction, creating new blocks, and getting something like rewarded for your contribution for your work. However, we also have to remember that the rewards, it's not only the thing that we get in assets. We have to explore other options. We have to understand that as this is the core element of the blockchain, we need to contribute to it. We need to be a part of it so that we could see our ecosystem grow and flourish and develop further, 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 further. Because if we are centered only on the rewards and some kind of liquidity here, this is kind of a wrong way for the development for the ecosystem, because we're here not only for the yield. I hope for this, because we are here trying to develop a new technology, to develop a new industry, because Web3 is kind of not kind of, but it is very young industry, and we have to support it and try to onboard new people to the field. Of course, noteworthy to mention that staking is, especially during this market condition, is one of the safest way to lay down and wait for the next cycle to accumulate potential for the next bull run, so that you can leverage the potential you accumulated via different decentralized application, DeFi sector, etc., and contribute to the development of the ecosystem. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, so I think for staking, it actually was created after proof of stake. So I think, but actually a lot of people don't really understand what proof of stake is. Proof of stake is actually the mechanism of like proving that someone has the ownership of the stake. And then when you stake on a network, actually means that you are putting some stake on the network, meaning that you try to contribute. You prove that you have the ownership of the network, and then you would like to contribute to the network, so that when there is inflation, you get the rewards. But actually, those are not rewards. Those are actually the byproduct of punishing those people that didn't stake. Because at the end, as the owner, and then you contributed to the network, meaning you would get more tokens. And then if you stake again, you would have more, you actually have more distribution or higher ownership of the network rather than those didn't stake. So I think this is also why we would also saying that after staking, we are actually securing the network, because by ownership, only those who support the network would secure their tokens there, and then we are using that locked value to secure these transactions. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot. Who's staking in this room? Raise the hand. Multiverse X. Who's taking Multiverse X tokens? Ethereum? And other chains? Okay, so there's a lot of Multiverse X fans, which you could guess, right? But like, no, I mean, you said it, right? In simple terms, like staking is the fact of collateralizing your assets at the protocol level to secure the network, and in exchange you validate transaction and you get rewarded for it. It's the primary yield of crypto, it's the most natural, and it's the base of most of DeFi when you actually create a liquid staking token on top of it. But I guess we'll discuss the liquid staking afterwards.
Yeah, you dived right into it, and that's great. I think staking, we already decided that it's really important for the ecosystem. But now let's look into what is there besides staking. So the trends in the staking industry. So Laszlo has rightly pointed liquid staking. When you stake your tokens on a blockchain, they get locked in a smart contract and you cannot use them. The beauty of it, you are always in control of your funds if it's a non-custodial staking solution. And I think this is an understated thing that with blockchain, you can have always control of your assets. To me, that's mind-blowing. That's the main reason I'm here today as a staking provider, because I can offer staking services to friends, family, and anybody without asking them to trust me with the custody of their funds. For me, that's crucial. Of course, there are other forms of staking, custodial staking. but the main power, I think, for me is that people can always be in control of their funds without having to trust me to take care of them. So besides locking your tokens, maybe we can dive deeper into liquid staking. So liquid staking, when you stake your tokens, you get something in return, a different token. Not the same token, but many times with a value similar to, or very similar to the tokens you staked. But this raises many questions and many complications. So I'd like to take your opinion on liquid staking. Maybe start with Laszlo.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of staking is that you get rewarded to secure the network, right? And you get this natural yields, inflation plus network fees. The disadvantage of staking is when you stake your asset, you're locked to a certain amount of time, depending on the protocol. So what liquid staking does, it mints a token that represents your position that is staked, that is locked, and this token is liquid, so you can move your position from like liquid staking Multiverse X token or liquid staking Ethereum to back to Ethereum or Multiverse X, so USDC, USDT, or you can play this liquid staking token on the rest of DeFi. In that sense, staking is not DeFi, but liquid staking becomes DeFi and the first product of DeFi that can flow on the rest of protocols, lending and options and perpetual and so forth. So yes, I guess that's what liquid staking is about.
Go ahead.
Right. So, well, so I understand that a lot of people would like to get more yields with your asset, and that is why there is liquid staking. And then basically you can move the liquid staked tokens into different DeFi protocol and get more yields. And you don't actually lose your original token staked in the network. Well, which actually you are still helping to secure the network. But somehow, I would also like to emphasize that we don't, somehow, I would say staking should not only be used on DeFi. So like in the previous panel, they talked about governance. So basically for like Cosmos ecosystem, we talk a lot about governance. Like on Cosmos Hub, you stake Atom, basically meaning that you have the right to vote on chain. That is the benefit that you can get. But of course, you can choose, don't use that benefit. And so if we think about that, I would see for the future, or the trend, I would like to see if there is any other creative way of staking. For example, like NFT staking. Why I mention NFT staking? Because I always would like to see if there is any way to support some musicians. And like the talented musician, or those musicians who are underdog. Not because right now, a lot of musicians are still controlled by a lot of great labels, big labels, or maybe they are not. Even if they try to do their own businesses on Spotify or Apple Music, they don't really get enough rewards from them. They don't get a fair pay. So I would like to see, for example, like if some musician, they issue NFTs, and then you can stick the NFT. It's very similar to, for example, Eddie. If you have a chance to buy a Joe Satriani signed Prom Boy, for example, I guess you would just keep it, right?
Of course.
All right. So that actually means that you hold that token, and then the staking also means that you have the ownership of that token. Once you stake, if you don't move it, it also creates another value. So that action actually means that as a fan, I'm supporting that musician, that artist. And then if I stake and I don't move it, the time being staked is another layer of value. So it's not only the value that you trade the NFTs, right? So by being staked, by being NFT being by NFT being staked, I can see that we can actually create more values on that. And for example, if I buy an NFT issued by an underdog musician and then I stake it, showing that I would never sell my NFT. And maybe by buying the NFT, I'm actually giving him or her some financial support. And then he or she can continue her journey and then create more great content. And at the end, I can get more rewards from that artist. So that would create more creative staking or economic value given back to the staking.
For those of you that don't know, Kwon was talking about Joe Satriani, the greatest guitar who ever lived, who is still alive, greatest guitar player. But what I got from his comments now is that when you stake something, you're placing your value somewhere. And when you get some rewards from that value, liquid staking, right? You can place it again somewhere else. So that's a really interesting point. You're placing your value, you're locking something you value, and you get rewards for doing that. So basically, that's what staking is: locking value in a smart contract.
And actually, that is a support on. Just think about that. Why you lock on Multiverse X? If you stake on Multiverse X, maybe like a later time, maybe you only see the yield. But if you're an early supporter of Multiverse X and then you stake at the very beginning, at the very early stage, actually you are supporting the network because you believe in the network, right? I think we should step back and think about why we have to stake at the very beginning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I suppose Laszlo and Juan mentioned a lot of about liquidity staking. However, we also should remember that it is a good thing to start invest into liquidity staking and just some traditional staking, as it lets you have more control of your part of your funds. So you can use it in the decentralized applications, in DeFi, simultaneously as you get rewards just as regular staking. However, we here could have some kind of infinite vicious circle where you, like a risk-taking thing, when you put your value into some platform, get the liquidity token, then you restake it, then you get the reward, then you restake it, and you have this cycle. I hope that we won't be trapped in this kind of thing, and we here need to use this value that we receive. So use in the DeFi space, in the applications and all this thing.
That's a very good point that you raised there. We had Julian on stage in the previous panel, and I think he would be maybe a good candidate to answer the next question. What are the dangers of playing too much with liquid staking? When you stake, you take the liquid token and then you stake somewhere again, and then you take the result of that and then you stake again, and you go into a vicious circle, you go down the rabbit hole, and then you don't know where the value is anymore by the end of that. So maybe as a last question, maybe I'd like you guys to address this. What are the dangers of not using the ecosystem, of just trying to get all the yield possible? And maybe we won't mention Terra here. But you know, it's an example. It happened, and not just because of that, but it's one of the things that happened. So threats in staking.
Yeah, I guess there's two main risks in using liquid staking tokens, and they are inherent to DeFi risk, right? The first one is the smart contract risk. When you stake at the protocol level. So there's a smart contract for Ethereum staking, for example. But, it's a smart contract that is quite simple, has been audited, is managing 43 billion of assets. So if it gets axed, we have other problems in crypto, I guess. But I mean, yeah, the smart contract risk. Obviously, when you stake your assets in a liquid staking protocol, you pool your assets in a smart contract that is governed by a DAO. So the risk of this contract being hacked, the risk of the DAO to update, or give a certain governance update that could be detrimental to the security of the network, this is the first risk. The second risk is exactly what you mentioned, and I'm sure Julien was here prior, has been playing a lot of this game. It's the systemic market risk, right? When you use the liquid staking token in other DeFi protocols to get more yields, and then you reuse this position in other DeFi protocols to get more yields, and you have this evil DeFi circle and loop that expose the liquid staking token to maybe depeg from the underlying assets that is, the multiverse or the Ethereum that you staked. So I guess, yes, that's the two main risks. And when you are using a liquid staking protocol, you should know that it's less secure than staking, for sure. You should know your risk. It has advantages, but it has disadvantages in the security aspect of things.
Do your own research. Always.
Yeah, do your research. Look at and definitely the market risk is decreasing the most liquid the liquid staking token is as well, right? There's less chance for the liquid staking token to depeg, for example, Lido, which is the most liquid staking token in the market right now, than just liquid staking protocol that is launching it as no liquidity.
Yeah, the risk. So Elena mentioned about the term restaking, right? I think restaking is also a hot topic right now. And so I think a lot of people heard about EigenLayer, right? So the EigenLayer is, they're building that, and then it's about restaking. So the idea is to use the liquid stake tokens and then restake again. And then it restake to some other chains to secure that chain. And while the risk, you can think of the risk so easily, because if there is anything happening on the other chain that would create slashing events, then the liquid stake token would be reduced. And then what would happen to the stake token on Ethereum, right? So there are a lot of risks we have to take care. And it's just leveraged too much if you keep restaking it. And then, so to me, I would say, if we are actually thinking of liquid staking, maybe only one layer of leverage is already enough. And we should think about how to generate some valuable economic value rather than just looking at yields or that is fake. Think about that. If it's all about inflation, then we are in Romania, right? So think about Romania had once been like 250% inflation sometime before, years ago.
Probably.
Probably. So it doesn't make the economy sustainable, right? So we better think how we can create more economic value, making use of the asset or the fund that we have staked, rather than tracing for yields. That would make the bubble bigger, and then once crash, it will become another turmoil, just like Terra.
Yeah, actually, this is the thing that I wanted to also to mention, because as I've mentioned earlier, blockchain as an industry is very early on, and we are on the early stages. And we here need to remember and understand that we are here not only for the liquidity. We'll have from staking, from liquid staking, from restaking, from cross staking, and blah 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 blah. We need to build the value behind it. We need to have the value behind it, because if it's only about locking your tokens, getting the rewards, and then locking your tokens, it's kind of a bubble that has nothing to deal with the real economic. So we have the example of the Web 2, and when we have the money to to have some goods, we have the money to have some services, and it is not only about having these assets, but using these assets. And we are at the moment, we are at the stage when we are building the entities, we're building the services, and it is important for users, for just a regular user, to understand that we're here not just like Bitcoin, some kind of a currency, I will use it and I will double my yields, but I will use it for some Web3 services, and it is important to remember them and bear in our minds.
Thank you very much, Alina. I don't know if you guys have any extra comments. If not, I think we can wrap this up. And maybe in closing, just go over what was said here. You know, staking comes from proof of stake, which is a consensus algorithm, right? Which, by staking, we jointly decide that these transactions are valid in the network. And we keep the network alive. So staking is a really, really important part of a proof of stake blockchain. Multiverse X is a really cool proof of stake blockchain. And if we use staking and we decide to push it to its limits and we go through liquid staking and we decide to wash, rinse, and repeat, do that over and over again, there are risks involved. And maybe think that when you are staking, you are locking your value somewhere. And if that value is gone in the end, if you're only trying to milk the cow for the last drop of milk, right? If I'm allowed this comparison, this is not a sustainable ecosystem. So I think if all of us just zoom out and look at what everybody's trying to build here, and maybe we can all build, even as delegators, we've been asked to build even from day one, and then to build bridges. But I think every delegator can consider himself or herself a builder, right? You're locking some value in a smart contract, contributing to the networks, and you're getting a reward for that, right? But if you're trying to get all the possible yield and trying to game the system constantly, it cannot end well. Maybe it will not end well for you, maybe it will not end well for others, but maybe everybody just try to zoom out and see how we can contribute to the well-being of Web3 in general, blockchain, and in our case, Multiverse X. Thank you very much for bearing with us. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. We have another panel coming up. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thanks.